All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome and thank you for joining us for tonight's University College Virtual Alumni Spotlight with the Dean of University College, Dr. Barbara Coppmiller, and special guests Michael Price and Mark Urrutia. Mark and Michael are both not only alumni of University College, but will be the awardees of the prestigious Alumni Association as well as the College Association Awards to be awarded at this year's upcoming Alumni Gala. Tonight's event is sponsored by University College, the University of College Alumni Affiliate, and the Greek Fraternity and Sorority Alumni Affiliate of the University of Toledo Alumni Association. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Paul Smith. I'm a Director of Alumni Engagement for the University of Toledo's Office of Alumni Engagement, and I'll be one of your hosts for tonight's program. As guests are joining us, I'd like to share a few housekeeping notes about this virtual event. First off, attendee names are not visible to other attendees. You only will see your name on the screen. So rest assured there are other attendees here tonight, and we're looking forward to seeing many of you later. Additionally, if you'd like to change the view on your screen, you can click on the upper right-hand corner of your screen to expand or reduce. Many devices often default to one particular view, so just know that you can change that view if you want to throughout the course of the evening. If you have questions for Dean Kopp-Miller, Mark, or Michael, please send those via the chat box. I'll collect those throughout tonight's program and we'll ask those at the end during a Q&A session. Now I'd like to officially welcome Carol Thomas, who serves as the president of the University of Toledo University College Alumni Affiliate, who will introduce Michael Price, this year's Distinguished Alumnus Awardee for University College. Carol?
Hello. As president of the University College Alumni Affiliate, it's my pleasure to welcome you to this virtual event. University College has many wonderful programs of study and offers opportunities that otherwise might not be available to non-traditional students. Both Michael and Mark being honored tonight are University College graduates and are outstanding examples of what can be accomplished, and we are so glad that they can join us tonight. So sit back, relax, and meet and help us honor the University College Alumni of the Year. Michael Price is a 1988 graduate of the University of Toledo and a 1986 graduate of University College and is the 2020-2021 Distinguished Alumni Award winner for University College. Michael currently serves as a private wealth advisor with Ameriprise Financial Services, where he has built his career and practice over the past 28 years. Michael continues to grow his practice, which not only employs 3 full-time staff members, but directly manages $160 million for their clients, updates over 225 financial plans annually, and gives advice to families on all of their wealth management issues in Northwest Ohio and throughout the United States. He is consistently one of the highest ranked advisors in the Midwest for Ameriprise and the top 15% nationally. In addition to his dedication to his clients, Michael also shares his time and dedication within the local community, serving as a volunteer for Northwest Ohio Food Bank, the University College Advisory Board, and various other organizations and events throughout the year. Now, what he didn't include in his bio is that he and his wife, Melinda, have established the Price Family Scholarship for single parents who are enrolled in University College. We are excited and honored to be able to have Michael with us tonight, the 2020-2021 Outstanding Alumni for University College, and we would like to offer a warm virtual welcome to Michael Price. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol, for your kind words and for that wonderful introduction. To introduce Mark Urrutia this evening, we have Dan Steele. Dan serves in the Greek Alumni Affiliate Executive Board, which Mark is a president of. Mark, of course, is this year's Blue Tea Awardee for the UToledo Alumni Association. I know we've had a few technical difficulties with the sound, so you bear with us here, but good evening, Dan, and thank you for being here to welcome Mark.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure to introduce Mark Urrutia. Mark is a 1988 graduate from the University of Toledo and University College. And as most of us know, he's a man about towns. He's a pretty busy guy. He's the general agent for the Catholic Order of Forster, a national fraternal benefit society. In this role, he is responsible for the recruitment and training of financial professionals throughout Northwest Ohio and Southeast Michigan. Mark also leads the Minority Business Assistance Center at the University of Toledo. The center provides business assistance and education to area small businesses and early stage entrepreneurs. In addition to his Toledo degree, Mark has additional certifications and professional designations to keep his educational credentials current. A servant leader to the community, Mark has volunteered his time, talent, and positivity to countless community organizations over the years. Examples include Pi Kappa Phi, where he was Alumnus of the Year and has been inducted to the Pi Cap Hall of Fame. He is a national board member for the Ability Experience, a Pi Kappa Phi service program to help those with disabilities. He's a past president and active member of Rotary and Leadership Toledo, where he was a past board member. Mark has also been very active in the UToledo alumni community, serving terms on the Alumni Association's Board of Trustees, and currently serves as a treasurer for the Latino Alumni Affiliate Board, and as Paul said, is president of the Greek Alumni Affiliate Board. I've known Mark for the past 37 years, and he was very close to being a Phi Psi, which is my chapter, when I was Rush chairman back in 1983. And he made a great decision to join Pi Cap, and he's done well with them. And we congratulate him on his achievements over the years, and certainly on the Blue Tea Award this year. It's well deserved.
Thank you, Dan.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Dan. Next, I'd like to introduce to you the Dean of University College, Dean and Dr. Barbara Coppmiller, who will serve as the moderator for tonight's discussion with these award-winning alumni. Dr. Barbara Coppmiller has served as Dean of University College since April 2016. Prior to that, she served as the Associate Provost for Online Education, a role she received first in 2013. She has extensive administrative experience, having served as Executive Associate Dean for Research and Quality, also as the Curriculum Coordinator for the Graduate Certificate in Contemporary Gerontological Practices, and as Administrative Director for the Center for Successful Aging. She joined the faculty at the University of Toledo in 1991, receiving tenure in 1999, and being promoted to full professor in 2011. As a faculty member, Dr. Kopp-Miller has taught a diverse array of graduate and undergraduate courses and has been awarded both the Dean's Award for Teaching Excellence as well as a Mentor Award as well. In her role as Dean of University College, she represents the university in a wide variety of statewide initiatives that are coordinated by the Ohio Department of Higher Education, including the College Credit Plus, Workforce Development, Prior Learning Assessment, and Competency-Based Education Initiatives. University College is home to more than 2,400 undergraduate students, which range from high school students looking to take college-level classes to undecided students to working adults returning to finish a degree. The college also houses the Department of Interdisciplinary and Special Programs, which offers a diverse grouping of degree completion options, including 100% online. The 100% online University Studies degree, the most popular online degree offered by the university. University College is home to UT Online, the focal point for all online education at the university. UT Online offers 50 online degree programs ranging from associate to doctoral degrees. University College also offers specialized services and programs to all undergraduates at the university through its Testing Services Center, Military Service Center, Prior Learning Assessment, Program 60, and Army ROTC. At this time, I'd like to offer a warm virtual welcome to the Dean of this great college, Dr. Barbara Coppmiller.
Thank you, Paul. It's great to see everybody, and I hope that you will feel free to put questions in the chat or in the Q&A. We'll ask questions for some time, but we will leave some time at the end for you to have questions for us, as well as conversations. So I'll start my questions with Mark. What everyone likes to know is, how did you get to UToledo?
Good question. It was kind of probably in my DNA. I'm from Toledo originally. I always say that I grew up on one end of Bancroft and went to college on the other end of Bancroft. So I grew up in the Old West End, and during my formative years, I remember, going to different things at the University of Toledo. I always thought it looked very prestigious, like a very well-known college. And, of course, I knew a lot of people that have went there over the years, very successful people in our community and across the world, really. So it was kind of a natural choice for me. The other reason why I went there, and I'm very grateful for the University of Toledo, I was on a call about a month ago with someone that was in a similar circumstance where, let's just say, I didn't end up high school with the best GPA I could have, right? And so the university was very gracious to be able to take me, number one, and really show me how to do a bunch of things. So for those two reasons, it was kind of a natural choice for me anyway.
Excellent, thank you. Michael, the same question. How did you end up at University of Toledo?
Well, for me, it was a financial decision, probably more than anything. Maybe that's why I'm a financial advisor today. I was making financial decisions then. But I had it down to Kent State, Ohio State, and the University of Toledo. And having grown up in Northwest Ohio, I always thought that I'd go away to school because that was the cool thing to do. But, when you start looking at finances, and my parents' agreement with me was they would pay tuition, but I would be responsible for everything else. It didn't make sense to me to take out a loan for a bed and food. So I decided pretty quickly, after doing the math and seeing, how much it was going to cost on a ledger sheet. And similar to Mark, growing up here in the area, going to University of Toledo basketball games in the 70s, which were just amazing. And just, I have to say, U-Haul to me is just really just so cool. And I still was so excited to be able to go to a class in there. And I remember my first class there was a philosophy class. So yeah, that was the main reason I made the decision and never looked back, and very happy I did so.
Excellent, thank you. And Michael, let's just stay with you for the next question. Describe your time as a UToledo student. What did you initially hope to do after graduation, and did that change during your time as a student?
Yeah, it did a little bit. I entered in the criminology law enforcement program at the time, which is why I was also looking at Kent State, because they had a very good criminal justice program. But it became pretty apparent to me that the main reason I wanted to get into criminology was obviously not to make money. I wanted to help people. And Dr. McConnell, he was my sociology professor. He really helped me get an internship within the court services division, and it was a great experience. It led to my first job with court services in Lucas County and working with the prosecutor's office, and I learned so much. But I ended up completely changing careers, obviously. And I give Dr. McConnell a lot of credit for that. He really opened my eyes and helped me realize that, hey, look, there are other things besides criminal justice that you might want to look into. And he had the foresight enough to help a kid out, kind of think things through. And that was always in the back of my mind.
Excellent, thank you. Mark, what was your time as a UToledo student, and what did you want to do initially, and did that follow through as graduated?
Yeah, so my journey was interesting and not a straight line path, I guess that you would say. I knew I wanted to be in some kind of business profession. I knew that since probably early high school, I was involved in junior achievement, and really that helped me make that decision while I was in high school. At Central, I was in a DECA program, so that was kind of the marketing end, and really knew that's basically what I wanted to do. I was in the community and technical college. I mentioned I had a little stumbles in getting to the university, and they gave me an opportunity to get started. I did go over to the College of Business. Then after the first semester or two, I got involved. Really, I got involved in a fraternity, and that kind of changed my outlook toward, really the university, what I wanted to do relative to giving back. That was a big part of it. And so I was real involved. I was, I think, president of the College of Business. They had a president of the College of Business for student government. I ended up being secretary and then treasurer of the Interfraternity Council. I was vice president of my fraternity. We had a bunch of things on campus. I was involved in what was then called the Student Development Program, which helps people that have some needs to get up academically. I gave back there by being a peer counselor when maybe I was a junior, a sophomore, or something like that. That was, matter of fact, one of my mentors, Dr. Helen Cooks, was recently inducted in the Wall of Inclusion, I think it was called, at the university, and she was involved in that program. Another mentor, I would say, is the late Jerry Jones, was a business instructor of mine, and he was phenomenal. He's just a good-hearted person, and really I found lots of those as instructors and professors and staff people and student affairs throughout my time there. Matter of fact, one of my favorites is Dr. Thompson, who now his name is on the student union. I love that. The president of the university, McComas, he was awesome. I remember he invited me and my mom, or a guest, I invited my mom to a football game in the president's suite. Now, at the time, the president's suite was a double wide trailer on one side of the field, but it was a great honor. So, yeah, so that's kind of how I got there and changed some things as we went along, but had a good ride, very good ride.
On that same note, what were some of your favorite memories from your time as a student, Mark?
I had so many, and I don't want to dominate the conversation, so I'll do a few of the top ones. One was Pi Kappa Phi fires off the cannon at the football games and continues to do that today. I'll never forget, we had, and it's where it is now, on the top of one of the towers. It wasn't always, it was there when I was there, and then it went on the field and different places. But that, well, first of all, climbing up a rickety wooden ladder was not the safest thing, but you did what you had to do. But I remember getting up there, and I'm not a big heights guy, so being up high was not one of my favorite things, especially on that ladder. But that was awesome, being able to participate in a tradition like the cannon at football games. It really, it was really a great experience for me. Another one was Songfest, another great tradition. They're actually doing that, I think, next Saturday. Tickets are sold out, but it's virtual. I participated in that for 4 years. That was really awesome. We won several of those years, I remember that. But seeing all my friends, participate in that. And just, the great activities and memories there. I mentioned the professors that really make a big difference. If any of you professors are listening, or staff people, you really have no idea the kind of impact you have, and I think we don't say thank you enough to those people, but you really do make a difference in both our academic progress, but also the impact you make on us. I just think that's phenomenal. Being involved in student government and, fraternity it made a huge impact as well. And it really helped shape kind of some of the things that I even do as of today. I still give back to many of those organizations, including the university. So there's a few.
There's a few. That's great. Thank you. Michael, what were some of your favorite memories as a student?
Yeah, I actually wrote down a list of things. One of my memories that really I had, until I started this process, I hadn't thought of in a while. But I remember I used to work at UPS. I had a little different college campus experience maybe than Mark did. I was a commuter, and I lived off campus in apartments as well as my parents' place for a while. And I would work the midnight shift at UPS, and then I wouldn't sleep. I'd come right to my 8:30 class. And I remember I used to, for one semester, I would go back to my car and sleep. And my buddy, Dennis, he would know what lot I was in, up Centennial there. And he would pull up next to me and usually honk his horn and just scare the living daylights out of me to wake me up, because we had the same class that we would then walk to. I remember seeing the space shuttle incident on various TVs around campus, and that still brings tears to my eyes. Just that experience with everyone there, just it was just unbelievable. I just remember standing there. It was a community technical college. Remember they used to have that, Mark, what was that called?
Comtech.
Well, Comtech, but they had a little restaurant bar area in there.
Oh, yeah. I don't remember the cavern.
Yes, the cavern. Yes. And they had a TV out there by the hallway. And I was just walking by and looked up, and there was the footage of the space shuttle explosion. I've already talked about my sociology professor, Dr. McConnell. He made had a huge impact on my life. Oh, one other thing I wrote down. You guys remember this one? Coffee machines. I would stop by, and I don't know how much it was, probably a quarter or 75 cents or whatever. And then Denny and I would drink coffee machines, or drink from the coffee machine. And then the UT-BG football games, or any UT football game at home, we would sit where there are stands now. It was muddy and grassy in the south end zone. And that's where you sat as a student, and it was a lot of fun. But I remember leaving there pretty muddy on more than one occasion.
Excellent. I do remember sitting on the grass there on the south end when BG and UT would play each other. So absolutely. So Michael, how did you get to the career and position that you're in today?
My wife and I became clients. I was working for Lucas County at the time. She was a teacher in the Catholic school system. And we were prospected, if you will, by a financial advisor. And we sat down and went through the full financial planning process. We looked at our net worth and our cash flow, income taxes, retirement projections, all those things. And something inside me clicked. There was like a light bulb went on. And I asked our advisor at the time, Jane, I said, wait a minute, Jane, people pay you to do this. And this is like a career thing, because it really wasn't known in the early 1990s what financial planners really did. And that was it. I made a couple of phone calls and quit my job, stopped attending. I was actually going to, I shouldn't say this out loud, Bowling Green State University for a master's degree in public administration. They had a great MPA program. And I was probably a third through that. And I remember my mother-in-law shaking her head thinking I was completely crazy for giving up a nice government job and a wonderful future to do something that was unknown and uncertain. But I have absolutely enjoyed my 28-year career as a financial advisor. It was the best thing, certainly, that I could do for myself and my family, career-wise anyway. So, and really the University of Toledo helped me with that. When you are out prospecting and cold calling back in those days, I had a connection with the community that really helped me in my career being a UT alumni.
Excellent, thank you. Mark, how did you get to the career and position that you're at today?
A little less direct, of course. When I was in school at the university, one of my jobs, I had a few jobs while I was there, but one of them was with junior achievement, which I was very involved in as a student. And I was a volunteer in my first part of college. And then they gave me a part-time job as a center manager, it was called, but it was just at night working to open and close the building and work with some of the advisors, the volunteer advisors from companies. And then as I was progressing through, I had an internship with them. And then they offered me a full-time job as the program manager for the high school program. I had a couple positions within the organization. And then, like many people in the 80s and 90s, had some downsizing. Kind of had to refigure out what I was doing. I did a couple small things in that time frame. I had a small consulting business that I worked with small businesses, doing marketing plans, business plans, that kind of thing. Wasn't overly lucrative, but I did that. I did some sales things. I worked for what was at the time called the Minority Contractors and Business Assistance Center, which is what the Minority Business Assistance Center is today. So I did do that for a couple of years early on. And then, what else I have to look here? And then really, and then 2000 is when I got into financial services. Actually, I wasn't working at the time. I worked for the Red Cross, a couple positions in blood services, the director of health and safety at one time. And I was at a church retreat, and I wasn't working at the time, trying to figure some things out. And a guy that was on the retreat, we had breakfast soon after that, and he introduced me to the industry. Mine wasn't as an aha moment as Michael's was, but I thought, you know, that sounds kind of interesting. It's still helping people. It's still in business. You can be in business kind of for yourself. And I did that. That was with New York Life. I did some time with American Family. And then in 2008, did an independent agency, including Catholic Order of Foresters, which is nice because it's a mix of, it's an actual nonprofit fraternal organization that helps people with their finances. I did have a securities license at the time. I have since given that up, and really my role now is more recruitment and training of new agents. And then I also simultaneously, I was asked by the university about 6 years ago. They had a program, the Minority Business Assistance Center, and asked me to do some consulting work for them, some part-time work. So I did that, and then lead that group. So both of those are, I love both of those things, right? It's an opportunity to help people in many ways, and I really enjoy the work.
Excellent, thank you.
Sure.
Michael, were there any lessons, values, or qualities that you developed as a UToledo student that made a significant impact on your life or career?
Oh, of course, absolutely. I think going to the University of Toledo and getting through a bachelor's program, and I tell all young people this, that degree does not necessarily give you the ability to do a job necessarily, but it does teach you how to think, and it proves that you can finish something you started. And for me, it taught me organizational skills. It taught me, you know, I can remember Carlson Library, trying to stay awake, studying late. You know, just that push that I got to make this happen. I got to get this done. That helped me in my business. It helped me with my CFP, studying for my CFP program, for my certified investment management analyst designation through Wharton, which was just an amazing experience. Without that University of Toledo foundation, would have been much more difficult for sure.
Excellent, thank you. Mark, the same question. Any lessons, values, or qualities that you developed as a UToledo student that has made a significant impact on your life or career?
Yeah, I think there were a few, and similar to Michael, I think other ones, really when you think about, a collegiate experience, there's many opportunities to fail, right? And so taking those lessons, and sometimes they weren't good lessons, at least for me along the way. I know I tell people one of the greatest things I learned while I was in college, I learned in college, through the formal setting, but also like through my fraternal experience was the opportunity to fail in somewhat of a safe environment. People are like, fail? Yeah. If you do something wrong when you're on your own or people are relying on you later on in life, to fail is a lot harder than to fail with a good support system and you're younger and you don't have people relying on you. So I think that was one. The other one that I think I was taught, and really maybe I would say it was amplified, is caring for people, or not caring necessarily, but understanding the value that people have different abilities, right? So I may be strong in something, and surely I'm weak in a lot of things, but collectively, how do we help each other through things? What was back in the day called play units for the severely handicapped, which I learned through my fraternity, but it's now called the ability experience, and it's the working with people with disabilities, but now it's more making sure that college students have an opportunity to interact with people with different abilities than them. And yeah, we do fundraisers and we do things to raise money, but the true work is understanding that we're all different, but deep down inside, we have similar goals. So those are some values that I really take with me today that I learned at UToledo.
Excellent, thank you. Over the years, you've both volunteered on various alumni affiliate boards, events, and initiatives. Michael, why has this been a priority in your life?
I think a lot of it was, frankly, how I was raised in a very fairly strict Methodist upbringing, but it was always about helping others. It wasn't about what you had or what anyone else had. It was just about extending your hand at any time to anyone. If they needed it and would take it, you would be there. And that's how I was raised. And I feel as though that's what I have tried to do in my career in wealth management is, it's all about helping the client and helping people make better financial decisions for themselves. So I think giving back to the community is a responsibility that we all have, but especially those of us who, may be in a position to do that more than others. I think you can't just kind of, if you will, live under a rock. You've got to get out there and help people and let your light shine, if you will. So I've always tried to do that.
Thank you. Mark, why has it been a priority in your life?
People ask me this sometimes, and honestly, I'm not exactly sure. It's just something you feel, right? And I'm sure some of it was growing up. I grew up a little differently, single mom growing up in, kind of the central city, and a lot of struggles. I was the oldest, had early responsibilities, was not perfect at them, but I think, what you come to realize is those little things along the way, the people that helped you. I was in, Boy Scouts, I was in the Boys Club, now Boys and Girls Club. I did different things. I had my dad's family, my aunts and uncles, in the old South End. I remember going over there. I wasn't good enough to play baseball for my team, but my uncle was the coach, so I was able to play for Darby back in the day. And it was a lot of fun. But you learn that, through that teamwork and that, I think I saw people around me not, that have had a lot more difficult times than I have. And if I can do something to help someone else, I just think it makes me feel good, but I know it's something I should do. And those are values that growing up and continued at the University of Toledo, I think those things are really critically important to help kind of shape not just you and your family, but the greater community. And I just think that's so important.
It's such important work that both of you do. Mark can start this one. If you could give advice to the UToledo student version of yourself, back to the 80s, what would it be?
I think one thing I thought I knew a little bit more than I really did was and I know people talk, the whole time management thing. And one of the things I learned in the financial services industry that has helped me in many ways is to block out time for things. Like we say your calendar, you put appointments in, but you also put other activities like phone calling or follow up or back office work or things like that. But you also have to give yourself time for other things, involvement in the community, in times of, taking care of yourself or going to a kid's soccer game or my daughter's cheerleading thing. I've always been a good photographer, so I like doing that. And again, it's my way of kind of giving back. But I would say time management and ask for help if you need help. I mean, there's plenty of people that have been in similar journeys and utilize their experience. You're going to get a lot of advice. Some of it you can discard, of course, but listen. The other thing is listening. Listen to people that have been before you because they have some good advice. Not all of it good all the time, but I think listening, time management, and asking for help if you need it.
Excellent. Michael, what would you tell yourself?
Well, I think you have to stay focused and kind of compartmentalize a little bit your life to some degree and make sure that you're staying fit in those areas. So staying fit financially, staying fit spiritually, staying fit physically, obviously, and just making sure that you're figuring out what your values are, what's important to you, and then kind of putting a life plan around making sure that you are going to get to the goals that reflect your values, not the goals that society say you should have, but the goals that really reflect your true values. And that comes with time. That's something that you just explore with time, and you'll have, and I certainly have had fits and starts and bumps and bruises. And I think though over time, you'll realize how important it is to concentrate on your core values and then setting goals, again, based on those values in those areas I mentioned earlier. I think that would go a long way for any student right now to think about setting life up that way. And certainly you can't control every outcome. So it's not about control. It's more about just living out your values.
Excellent. University college degree programs have varied over the years, but many of its current students are working adults and non-traditional students. So for working adults out there thinking about obtaining a college degree from UToledo, why is UToledo degree for them? Mark, you want to take that one first?
Sure. I think a few things. One is society now is very fast-paced. So I would imagine, I don't know this for a fact, but there's a lot of current non-traditional students that are looking to especially with this whole COVID thing, trying to figure out what they want to do and change. I think the university, through the University College, gives many opportunities to kind of explore non-traditional study paths, right? And so I think that's important. It's an important part of the university. The other thing is, more and more, there are additional kind of avenues to learn, right? I think in the University College is where the online presence is mainly. I think that gives tremendous opportunity to so many people like they've never had the opportunity to do before. And I know, of course, they're at other organizations like UToledo and like others, but I think University of Toledo really puts a lot of thought into programs and making sure they're out in the community to be able to find out, look at that pulse and change with the needs within our community. I mean, it is Toledo's university, right? So it's incumbent on the university, and I think the university does a great job of seeing what's out there and adapting and creating new programs. So if you can't find a program at Toledo, in particular the University College, I don't know where you're going to find it, right? So, 3 cheers to you guys at the University College and the University of Toledo for doing a great job and keeping up.
Thanks. It's a great institution. Michael, why is a UToledo degree worth it?
I think the personal growth, the personal growth that comes from attending, networking, and just following through to get that diploma is priceless. And it's not just about the diploma, although the diploma is really important and it's going to open a ton of doors for you. But, and of course, networking is going to help tremendously. I mentioned, a professor helping me get an internship, which really gave me my opportunity and open doors in the criminal justice field when I first graduated. But beyond that, it's just about, and Mark mentioned this earlier, it's about the bumps and bruises, the ability to make mistakes when you can afford to make a mistake in a way, and there's a safety net there. So I think it's about, besides the networking, the diploma, which is unbelievably awesome, but it's just about personal growth. And an 18-year-old graduating from high school, hearing that would be not really understanding it maybe, but when you're 21 or 22 and graduating, it'll make a lot more sense to you. And anyone who's in their mid 40s and they're interested in, I want to change careers and I'm going to use an online, wonderful online capabilities, Dean, that you've been so involved with University College. And that person is going to grow so much, even through an online experience. So, yeah.
Excellent. Thank you. Well, I've been asking questions for 45 minutes, and I think it's time to turn it over to Paul, so we can open up to questions from those who have joined us today. So, Paul, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you. So a few things, I have been collecting the questions that have been coming in. Thank you for those of you that have sent questions or well wishes. We'll get to those in a second. Also, at the end of tonight, I'll give a short sort of closing announcements. Then after that, if there's anyone that would like to say anything personally to Michael or Mark or Dean Kopp Miller, feel free to stick around. I can turn on your microphones and give you access to turn your cameras if you want to say a few things in person to any of these individuals as well. But we have had some questions come in, and so I will get to those as well as some well wishes. A special congratulations from our good friend, Mr. Tom Schuster, who is shared with us that you're making University College alums proud. So we thank Tom for being there, and of course we're grateful for these great alums here tonight. But I'll start with the first question that came in, which to many University of Toledo alumni is an important one, and that is, what is your favorite University of Toledo sport or favorite sports memory? So if someone from the athletic department says you can have one ticket to any one sporting event this year, what would your favorite be?
Well, for this year, it's definitely, you got to go to Notre Dame and see our football team beat Notre Dame at Notre Dame. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah, I would kind of agree with that, and I think probably we need to share this with the athletic department because they can take us there and treat us nice there. What do you think, Michael? I think that's a good idea. But no, I think it's interesting. I've gone to different games over the years, and the most involved, with fraternities and stuff like that, of course, are the football games. I did enjoy in the winter going to a few basketball games in Centennial Hall, now Savage Arena, and both the venues there have changed and kept up, and I think the university's done a great job with that. But it's not just the sports team and whether we win or lose either. It's that family-like feeling that you have with other fans or even people from the opposing team. I remember I helped do the training for the cannon, and so at one point some of our students were kind of not heckling, but given that because it's right by the opposing team, and I'm like, hey, and I wasn't there at the time, but I'm like, come on, we wouldn't be the team we are if we didn't have opponents. So let's be good with that. But really, football. But we have we have a great tennis team. We have a great baseball team. I mean, there's lots of things. Our track and field team. I mean, there's so many. Swimming over the years. I've known a bunch of people involved in all of those sports, and beyond the college experience, the experience that those student athletes have. And I know in the NCAA, in the Mid-American Conference, we do well academically, and that's great testimony to the type of sportsmanships that happen at UT. But as a spectator, I would say, to be fair, first football and then second basketball, but there you go.
All right. Another question from the days of the old ComTech. What are some of your most memorable ComTech memories, or possibly some instructors that you had that you haven't mentioned already that had an impact on you?
There was a instructor, Ron Rossi, at ComTech. He was some constitutional law, and he was a inner city detective with all these years of experience and just an incredible source of knowledge. Probably 45 or 50% of which would not be allowed politically correctly speaking today in class. But in 1985, it was okay. He was amazing. I don't know if anybody out there remembers him since the ComTech question came in, but that's definitely somebody that made a big impact on me for sure.
I think for me, and I mentioned there was a marketing professor, and I don't remember his name, but I saw him, maybe 10 years ago, and I said hi, and I told him how important his class was to me and the things that happened. But those of you who know, he's passed away since, but Jerry Jones, who later on, or maybe even worked at the Blade for a number of years, he had this very distinctive voice that you can't help, kind of listening to. But he took the extra time, right? He took time before and after class to talk with you, and he seemed to care, right? I mean, it was just those kind of things. And there were many of those throughout. I will say, and you mentioned the cavern, we had our fraternity rented the cavern out on, like some Friday and Saturday nights, and we had a pajama party, we had a toga party, but they were all fun, and no one was too crazy. I mean, it was just good. It was a different time, right? But it was really good. I do need to do one shout out. I see one of my, I see Carolyn's on the line. I'll just use her first name, but she's a Chi Omega, and we went to a thing called Chiamunga, which for those of you who know Fred Flintstone, she had to make a Fred Flintstone outfit for me. That wasn't there. It was at Dan's fraternity house, actually. But just those great memories and friendships that you have, it's really cool because I see my kids. I have 2 college-age kids, and they're, and by the way, one's at Ohio State and one's at Kent State, Michael. I heard you mention that. That's kind of funny. I couldn't get them to come to Toledo, but they did certain things at Toledo. But it's those kind of friendships, those long-lasting friendships, I think, that really make a difference and help kind of mold who you are. Again, things that happen there at the University of Toledo.
Always good to reminisce about, especially places that aren't there anymore. The memories, I don't know, they just hit a little different. Special shout out to Jeff Moss, who actually, when we were trying to remember what the name of that place was, sent it to us in the chat. So thank you, Jeff, for remembering that as well. Real quick, and maybe a bit of a shift from some of the questions we've had so far, to go back to kind of to reflecting on your careers. Maybe I'll ask you to be a little slightly selfish on this one, but obviously you both you built your own businesses and worked in, the financial services industry or financial advising, which isn't necessarily an easy industry to be successful in. It takes a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication, and there's a lot of people that aren't successful in it or try it out and it's not for them. Why do you think that you both were successful in that industry when often sometimes people are not? And maybe I'll start with Michael on that one.
Maybe I was just too stupid to quit. Early on, it was difficult for sure. I had a manager early in my career who said, in your first year, you'll make 6 figures if you just do everything I tell you to do. I did everything he told me to do, and I made $26,000 in my first year. So, no, I mean, I think that if you take the long view, and I think this is true in any career, but if you're building a business and you take the long view and you have a 5 or 10 year plan, not a 5-month plan, and you don't get greedy and you do the right thing for clients all the time. Fiduciary is this buzzword nowadays. But really all that boils down to is if you wouldn't do it for your mother or your father or your grandmother, then you shouldn't do that, whatever it would be for a client, if you wouldn't do it for them. So it's the same principle. It's fiduciary. It's acting in the best interest always for your clients. And if you start your career out that way, you will build a successful business. It's going to take a lot of, as I like to say, when you're self-employed, the great part is you can feel free to work as often or as little as you want. But if you want to be successful, you're going to feel free to work about 60 hours a week, any way you want, though. That's really what it takes. So I think it's just a burning desire to be successful and to help people. You have to have both of those things. You've got to have a little bit of, I want to be a success, I want to build a successful business, but knowing that you can't do that by running over people. You can't do that by offering products that aren't appropriate for people, et cetera. So yeah, I think it's just about having that go-getter spirit and getting up every day. You got to love it. And the other thing, and Mark will tell you the same thing, I'm sure, is this career is all consuming. So when you leave the office at night, you turn off the lights, you're not done. You're going to go home and you're going to read the latest email about the tax law changes that whatever the current administration is talking about. It's not law yet, but you need to know about it because you're going to get a question about it at tomorrow's second meeting. And so it just never stops. And so you have to be willing to accept that. And I think a lot of people get into the career and they're like, whoa, wait a minute, I can't turn this thing off. You're not going to turn it off. And so if you can accept that, and then of course always give the right advice, you'll do well.
Yeah, I think everything Michael will said. What I would say is that first manager was right. You did make six figures. The decimal was there too. They counted the cents. Just throwing that in there. Really a couple things I would say. One is, you got to pay attention to the fundamentals, right? You got the companies, do a good job of laying out things for you. You have to have some trust. Here's step one, here's step two, and you kind of go with that, right? I think the reason why people are more successful than not is because of those fundamentals and remembering those. When you asked the question, I was thinking of a few words, and then I thought I saw those recently somewhere. So I pulled up the University of Toledo's values, and there are 5 of them. And it's a couple of them I thought of right away. That's why it's professionalism, right? 1, discovery. I think Michael talked about that. Discovering your client, discovering what's out there, what's important to them. Collaboration, for sure. We don't know everything all the time. I learned the value of saying, I don't know, but I'll find that answer out for you. I know through Catholic Court of Foresters, we have a on-call, I could even call right now and have an attorney, talk me through something. Service, which is really important, and diversity. The different types of people that you have to deal with on a daily basis is really important, because through that diversity, people bring different things to the table. I was just talking to someone about this today. Having lots of different opinions around the table isn't necessarily the cleanest ride. Sometimes it's bumpy, but generally speaking, you get to a good end result. So we would work with accountants, attorneys, like I don't do my stock brokerage anymore, so I'll go to someone else and help with that. I think once you understand those values and really hold those tight, I think that's important. I will say too, there's a great need right now, believe it or not, and I'm sure this is the same with Michael. We looked at our 2020, and you would think, what would happen to financial services in a pandemic? It would go down. We had our best year ever at Catholic Order of Foresters. So we're looking for agents and financial professionals. Let me know, look me up, I'm all over. But seriously, the profession is positioned now for really great opportunities. The training's phenomenal, the resources are phenomenal, but you need those good people. And I think there's plenty of them at the University of Toledo in particular, so.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Michael. We're at the tail end of our program here tonight. So at this time, I'll officially, sort of wrap this up. Like I said before, if any of you would like to stick around afterwards, say a few words to anyone here tonight, feel free to do so. I'll do that right after I'm done closing. But as we do close here tonight, I would like to thank all of our guests here tonight, Dean Barbara Coppmiller, and of course, our distinguished alumni award winners, Mr. Michael Price and Mr. Mark Urrutia. Obviously, your commitment to the University of Toledo, your affinity for the University of Toledo, your passion for the University of Toledo and University College is great. And I think I speak as a UT alum that we are humbled and grateful to be able to count you among our alumni. So thank you for all that you do and continue to do for our university community. Once again, thanks to the Dean of University College, Dr. Barbara Coppmiller. I will apologize if I accidentally created some degree programs that didn't exist during your introduction. So my apologies for that. Hopefully no one will go looking for any of those that I may have mispronounced, but We do appreciate your help in hosting this event tonight, and allowing this opportunity for us University College alumni to all get back together. Again, we also are very grateful for the leadership, insight, and knowledge that you provide to University College, and of course the University of Toledo alumni community. And lastly, I'd like to thank our audience for taking time out of your busy schedule in your evening to spend it with us and help us honor these awesome alumni of the University of Toledo. A special reminder that events like this are made possible due to the purchasing of Alumni Association memberships by University of Toledo University College and Greek alumni. If you'd like to purchase or renew a membership to the University of Toledo Alumni Association, please visit toledoalumni.org. We also have various alumni groups, both locally, and I do know we have people that are participating that are not local as well, and we do have chapters across the country. We'd love to see you at an alumni event sometime soon, hopefully an alumni event in person when the pandemic clears. We hope you enjoy the rest of your evening, and of course, have a great upcoming weekend.